Hello, everyone. I apologize for my absence. There are some personal things going on, and they needed my direct attention. But I have returned, as promised. I have gotten several requests to speak about different alien species that are involved with our planet. So, I've picked a list of 23 that I'd like to talk about. The first of these species would be the Arcturians. Arcturus is one of the most advanced extraterrestrial civilizations in our galaxy. It is a fifth-dimensional civilization, which, in reality, is like a prototype for Terra's future. Its energy works with humanity as an emotional, mental, and spiritual healer. It is also an energy gateway through which humans pass during death and rebirth. It functions as a way station for the non-physical consciousness to become accustomed to the physicality. In the book titled The Keys of Enoch, it has been described as a midway station or programming center used by the physical brotherhoods in our local universe to govern the many rounds of experiments with the physicals on our end of the galaxy. Their total focus in every aspect of their society to the path of realization. The Arcturians teach that the most fundamental ingredient for living in the fifth dimension is love. They teach that negativity, fear, and guilt must be overcome and exchanged for love and light. Arcturus is the brightest star in the Bootes constellation, which is approximately 36 light-years from Earth. The Arcturians work in very close connection with the Ascended Masters, whom they refer to as the Brotherhood of All. They also work very closely with what they refer to as the Galactic Command. The Arcturians travel the universe in their starships, some of which are most the advanced in the entire universe. One of these reasons that Terra has not been attacked by more warlike and negative extraterrestrial species is that have these civilizations constant fear of these advanced starships of the Arcturians. These ships are cutting-edge, state-of-the-art technology. One of the starships circling the Earth is called the Starship Althena, named after one of the Greek goddesses. The Arcturian society is governed by what they call the Elders. Their skin is a light bluish-green color. They have large, almond-shaped eyes. They have the ability to move objects with their mind and are totally telepathic. The source of food is an effervescent type of liquid that is highly volatilizing to their entire being. Their eyes are dark brown or black in color. Their main source of seeing is actually through their telepathic nature, not their physical eyes. The average lifespan is from 350 to 400 of Terran human years. Their highly developed spiritual nature has allowed them to never age, since that they have the ability to transcend space and time. The Agarians. A group of Asiatic or Nordic humans whose sources claim discovered a vast system of caverns below the region of the Gobi Desert and the surrounding areas thousands of years ago, and have established a thriving kingdom within. One has been interacting with other planetary systems up until current times. Vast cavern systems below Tibet allegedly link Agari systems to the Central Asia to Anacasis, a multi-level cavern system under the southwestern slopes of the Himalayas, where the Nagas dwell. Here, a sect of human and other species of collaborators dwell, one which is said to have contact with the Thule Society during World War II. Following the conflict of interest and collaborating forces were driven out, however, in recent centuries they have regained some ground. The Alpha Draconians. These are reptilian beings who are said to have established colonies in Alpha Draconis, from Thuban. The Alpha Draconians claim to have originated on Terra thousands of years ago, a fact that they used to justify their attempt to retake the Earth for their own. They originated on Thuban, which is located in the Draco star cluster. They are apparently a major part of a planned invasion, which is eventually turning from covert infiltration mode to overt invasion mode as the window of opportunity slowly begins to close. They are attempting to keep the window open by suppressing advancement of technology from the masses, which would lead to an eventual Terran colonization of other planets by Earth, and an eventual solution to the population, pollution, food, and other environmental problems. Being that Terrans have an inbred warrior instinct, the Draconians do not want them or us to attain interstellar capabilities, and therefore have become a threat to their imperialistic agendas. The Alpha Centaurians. The extraterrestrials from Alpha Centauri vibrate and resonate on a band of violet light. They are often called the Indigo Star Children. This is a civilization that has enormous scientific and technical knowledge that is of the highest quality in the universe. The Alpha Centauri are very theoretical. Part of their mission on Earth is to help raise Terra's scientific, technical, and theoretical knowledge. Their mission is also to find ways to make this knowledge understandable to multiple societies, since they are so much more advanced. One of the ways they keep doing this is by telepathy linking up with some of our most advanced scientists. Because these beings are so incredibly intelligent and are such of high vibration, they sometimes have difficult time grounding these ideas onto an earthly plane. The beings from Sirius are very good at bridging this gap, because they are very good at practical applications of these ideas, and making these theories usable for our third-dimensional society. The Altarians. These are reptilian inhabitants from the Altair system in the constellation Aquila, in collaboration with smaller Nordic human elements and a collaborative Grey and Terran military presence. Headquarters of a common known as the Corporate Collective, which maintains ties with the Ashtar and Draconian collectives. The Anakim, also referred to as the Els, short for Elder Race, or simply as Giants or Sleepers. These are referred to also in ancient Hebrew traditions. This race is allegedly tied in with a branch of ancient humans who broke off from the mainstream of humanity because of their vast size which had developed over the centuries, possibly as a result of a genetic mutation. They are said to range anywhere between 9 to 11 feet, and in some cases 12 feet in height. Although in configuration they are remarkably similar to international humans, they are said to possess a means of molecular condensing and expansion which allows some of their kind to mingle among humans on the surface. They have allegedly been encountered in deep and extensive cavern systems below the western part of North America, and as far north as Alaska, as far south as Mexico, and as far east as Texas. They are believed to have interstellar traveling capabilities. The Antarcticans. This is a secret area of operations for both human and reptilian beings. It is said that by some scientists, actually developed a disc-shaped aircraft capable of advanced aerial performances, and that they have been seen on a few aerial discs. Many of these beings are piloted by pure-bred blonde, blue-eyed Aryan race. This is why they were so attracted by the Nazi Empire. There appears to be more than one blonde human society involved in UFO scenarios, especially in subterranean human societies. They have developed blonde hair due to lack of sunlight. There does not need to be anything more than a peripheral connection between the Antarcticans, the Telosians, and the Pleiadians. I will refer to these from now on as the Aryans, the Telosians as the Blondes, and the Pleiadians as the Nordics, to discourage confusion. The Antarcticans may consist of largely of batch-consigned, purebred blue-eyed blonde Aryans who became the victims of Hitler's obsession to create a super race, and as suggested by Harbinson and others, that most of these may be controlled through mind manipulation and implants, being human drones, who are used to keep this hidden society functioning. The Atlans. These are human-like entities, usually described as being benevolent by comparison to other groups, who are said to inhabit the vast and complex cavern cities beneath southern Brazil and surrounding regions. The term Atlantean or Atlan, in reference to these races, have been placed upon the fact that these cavern networks along the east coast of Brazil were once reportedly a part of the antediluvian Atlantean Empire. The present inhabitants have no direct genetic relation to the ancient Atlantean society, which is said to have controlled these cavern systems for several millennia, but are simply referred to as Atlanteans because simply they are descendants of those who rediscovered and inhabited ancient Atlan installations. As in North America and other continents, both common and gnome-like humans have been encountered here, some which have possessed advanced aerial or disc technology. The Telosians claim to have some connections with South America, especially in the Mato Grosso region. The Bernarians, inhabitants of Bernard's star system. Although not much has been written about them, it seems that human beings, at least in part, control the star system along with the Orange. Whether the Saurians have any influence or not is uncertain due to conflicting sources. However, some sources indicate that possible collaboration is similar to that within our own solar system. The Bootians, reptilians from the Boot system. These entities are from the Dracona system and are allegedly involved with Dulcis scenarios as well as infiltration implantation control of human society on Terra, in anticipation of their planned takeover at some point in the future. Burrowers, another mutation of the reptilian race that is capable of burrowing through Terra, possibly quadrupedal as well as bipedal. These have been known to use their natural boring abilities to create artificial tunnels like moles, or even spontaneously produced cave-ins. These may possess a highly developed biosensing system. The Setians, a human race of Mediterranean or South American appearing tan-skinned humans, very similar to Caucasian humans on Terra except for slight differences. Slightly pointed ears, a higher physical density for their size, a slightly broader nose, 5'5" on average. Tau Ceti and Epsilon Eridani are said to have a major convergence of extra-human activity and are said to be in alliance with the Pleiadians. The Setian alliance with the other Pleiadians and other societies who have been victimized by the Grey Predators is based upon a desire to establish a common defense established against their Thuban nemesis. The Chameleon, Alpha Draconian genetically bred. These beings enable their offspring to appear human-like, dragon-like, or even another species to feign a peaceful purpose. Also, less humanoid-appearing beings who form technosis, molecular shape-shifting, and or laser hologram technology to produce an outward human appearance. Reports of these have surfaced from underground joint operational facilities near Dulce, New Mexico, Dugway, Utah, and Deep Springs, California. They are reportedly involved in some type of infiltration agenda. These infiltrators can appear remarkably human outwardly, however at the same time retaining their reptilian or neo-saurian internal organs, often described as appearing as bulge-eyed with scaly, hairless skin behind their disguise. One report alleged that chameleons may use artificial lenses to conceal their irises. The Dolls. The Dolls are a handsome, Nordic-looking race, much like Northern European Caucasians. They are able to breathe our atmosphere without special equipment. It must be understood, however, that many, if not most, of the extraterrestrials do not have the solid physical bodies that humans have. It is important that this does not scare you. The Evo Borg. These are cybernetic forms controlled by human entities or consciousness, or simply humans who have been implanted or surgically altered to such an extent that they have become cybernetic in nature, yet still retaining a soul matrix. This was once a humanoid race, however, with a desire to reach perfection in their bodies, They are now more machine than human. The Gizan. The Gize people have been referred to as the Pleiadian, as well as many others. This may have some connection with strange people and technology allegedly encountered in the deep labyrinth recesses behind Egypt, who were sometimes reportedly seen by explorers and who dressed like ancient Egyptians. There is, according to a leading-edge research team, a huge cavern system deep beneath Egypt, which is inhabited by people with close ties with the U.S. government. Some sources indicate that the Giza people may be a controlled society, where malevolent reptilian beings are the dominant power, although there is still much mystery to what the Giza Empire is all about. The Grails. These are saurian Grey-type entities which are apparently somewhat taller and usually encountered with Greys, yet extremely thin with a rail-like torso and long limbs and very strong. These hybrids were created to be a forceful extraction team of gametes by humans to create the species. The Greys. Small-bodied hominids, very prolific and intelligent. They are the brains or intellect of the Thuban race, whereas the larger, hybridized Greys allegedly act as physical overlords, and thus are a higher ranking than the Greys. The Greys are logic-based and operate on a base animal survival or predatory instincts in most cases, are emotionally insensitive to humans and other reptilian entities. They feed off of human and animal vital fluids by rubbing a liquid protein formula on their bodies, which is then absorbed through the skin. The Greys range from 3.5 to 4.5 feet tall on average, with skin colors ranging from gray-white to gray-brown to almost a green to blue. Aside from feeding off human and animal protein and fluids, they also feed off life energy and vital essence or soul energy of humans. This is why those humans seen working with the Greys, whether willingly or unwillingly, appear lifeless or emotionless to the witnesses who observed them. The Greys are reportedly extremely deceitful, and although they act on logic, to them logic is law. To use extremely complex forms of deception to bring about their goals. They are the most commonly observed alien entities encountered during UFO events. Their basic program is service to self. They are known for impregnating human females on a massive scale and later extracting the fetuses. Most of their biological material comes from cattle mutilation. However, it is a known fact that in times they have done this to humans as well. These materials have been found on their crashed UFOs. These Greys have no stomach and digest their food by absorption through their skin or under their tongue. They have been cloning themselves instead of the practice of reproduction we use on Terra. Each time they reproduce themselves, a genetic copy comes weaker, which is part of their problem. They use human DNA to repair their own flawed genetic code. The Havmusuvas. Prominent in the Paiute Indian tradition, the Havmusuvas were allegedly an Egyptian or Grecian-like seafaring race who discovered huge caverns around 3,000 to 5,000 years ago within, and later deep beneath the Panamint of mountains of California. Within these, they then established their vast underground cities, where in the inland sea, now Death Valley, which connected the ocean in ancient times, dried up. They had no way to carry on trade with other parts of the world. As a result of this, according to Paiute Indian tradition, they began to build and fly silver eagles, which became increasingly advanced as time went on. The Hybrids. Hybrids, possessing saurian and human genetic coding, yet who possess a human consciousness/soul matrix. These beings are ambassadors of the saurian species in the attempt to bridge the gap between the two species. The Hyades. The Hyades in the constellation Taurus, like the Pleiadians in Vega, are said to have been the destination of yet another group of refugees from the ancient Lyran wars. The Ikels, or Satyrs. These are small, hairy humanoids with cloven hooves which inhabit deep caverns in South America and in Europe. They may be members of a fallen pre-Adamic race which possessed animal and humanoid characteristics, now allied with the Greys. This was a Grey attempt at hybridization. They have been known to, according to natives, to kidnap women and children down through the ages, and many stories are told of South American tribes who have battled these creatures with machetes during certain of their forays to the surface in search of women, children, or food. The Insiders. Human residents of Terra, either permanent or temporary, of the various different secret society-connected top-secret underground installations, bases, or colonies throughout the United States and the world. Some of these groups may possess advanced technology, enabling them to travel to various other planetary bodies in our solar system. The Leviathan. A sea saurian sea serpent, such as the so-called Loch Ness Monster, has been the site of much occult or paranormal activity, including UFO activity and Grey sightings. Being aquatic in nature, and having lost their limbs by atrophication and mutation, this branch of the saurian race is allegedly used for long-range psychic warfare and manipulation of other races. The saurians do not align themselves with the Leviathan. The Naga. They play a significant role in the legends of India and Tibet, where they are considered by some to be the benevolent residents of the subterranean realm. They are described as being around 7 to 8 feet tall and of various colors, but often moldy, sandy, or metallic greenish lower-scaled bodies with humanoid skin and humanoid upper torsos. Naga are very private and reclusive, but are very vain and love self-adornment. The Pleiadians. Blonde, or in some cases brunette, Nordic-type humans based in the Pleiadian, Taygeta, and other systems, which allegedly colonized by refugees from their former planetary abodes in the Lyra constellation, which were invaded by Alpha Draconian Thubans. The main Pleiadian planet of Era was reportedly terraformed by the Lyran refugees. The Pleiadians were apparently the first humanoid society to develop hyperspace travel. The U.S. government has reportedly known how to tap into hyperspace since the Philadelphia experience in the 1940s. The Pleiadians claim that their technology surpasses our international technology by 3,000 years. This explains why the humans in Lyra were able to travel vast distances from this part of the galaxy to colonize the Pleiades, some 430 light-years from Terra. The Pleiadians consider themselves to be a part of the Andromedan Council, based within some of the planetary systems within Andromeda constellation. The Procyon. One of the positive extraterrestrial groups are from a solar system that revolves around Procyon. Procyon is a binary yellowish-white star that rises before Sirius in the Canis Majoris, about 11.4 light-years from Terra. They have been nicknamed the Swedes. They are humanoid in nature with blonde hair. They have a very strong, positive, spiritual attitude towards the humanity of Terra. The United States government was not interested in negotiating with the Procyons because they would not give them new weapon systems. The Procyonians apparently have crossbred with us at many stages in evolutionary development. This was done for much more noble purpose than the Greys. The Procyonians have a philosophy to self to others rather than service of self. They have been involved in trying to protect us from the evil activities of the Greys and Thuban species. They are able to travel in time and between dimensions of reality. They frequently use mechanical vehicles for this, but are not dependent upon them. The term Procyon translates into English as the home of those who travel through time. The Procyonians serve the law of one. They are here to help us help ourselves, respecting our freedom of choice. The Ra'ans. They landed on Earth approximately 110,000 years ago in an extraterrestrial mission to help Earthlings with their mental and spiritual evolution. Their main focus geographically was in Egypt and the Mayan civilizations. The Ra referred to themselves as a sixth-density social memory complex. They no longer have physical bodies. They are light beings. However, they are able to materialize physical bodies as they need to. They came to Egypt in a bell-shaped UFO aircraft. They refer to themselves as humble messengers of the law of one. They no longer operate in linear time as we do here on Terra. They refer to themselves as a society memory complex, although still do have individual identities within this understanding. They attempted to help in technological ways in terms of healing the mind, body, and spirit through use of crystals. They were also involved in the building of the Great Pyramids of Giza. They made some contract in the Holy Land as well. The pharaoh they contacted was Akhenaten, a hybrid Saurian, in the 18th dynasty. The pharaoh accepted the teachings of the law of one. However, his priests only gave this teaching minor attention. The Saurians. A benevolent reptilian species that evolved on Terra and has worked with other indigenous species as well as outsiders to incorporate knowledge and are a part of the Galactic Federation to protect Terra from malevolent species wishing to harm resident species. Saurians have hybridized with several species in hopes to build a bridge in relations, to communicate in peace and share knowledge from all corners of the known multiverse. Saurians are often confused with Thubans or Alpha Draconians due to their appearance, but Saurians do not have wings, nor do they view humans as a food or resource. The Sasquatch. Large, hairy humanoids who have usually troglodytal or cavern-dwelling appearance, although they have been known to forage through mountainous or wooded areas in search of roots, berries, grasses, and nuts, which make up most of their diet. They are believed to possess a heightened sensing ability, which allows them to steer clear of human influence. They are more human than animal, according to some reports, although they have often been mistaken for animals, which has forced them to take up a largely subterranean lifestyle. They have been often described as having a human face or an ape-like body. Most are strict vegetarian, which may be explained by the possibility that they might be a hybrid or other type of antediluvian human sapien. This would be accomplished through interbreeding. They are usually described as being 6 to 9 feet tall, while other branches may be smaller. Hairy humanoids, both large and small entities, have on some occasions been observed in connection with UFO encounters or other subterranean encounters. The Sasquatch have only known to attack humans in self-defense, sometimes throwing large boulders to frighten away intruders. Sasquatch apparently have the ability to spontaneously induce invisibility through producing an electromagnetic psychic shield around themselves, and are said to communicate between our dimension and the fifth dimensional realm. The Sirians. Sirius is an ancestor of Ashtar or Astarte collective, where humans and other various types of beings such as Sasquatch, reptilians, greys, insectoids, and reptilian-insectoid hybrids as well as cybernetic entities have collaborated in the past. The Sirians have often waged war on the Orion Empire, which conclude of 6 reptilian star systems in the Orion Open Cluster. This dispute between Sirians and Orion reptiloids dates back to the ancient invasion of Orion by the Draconian Empire, as a result of which many Nordic-type humanoids escaped to Procyon, Sol, Sirius, and elsewhere. The Solarians, human residents of the Sol system who claim to have ties with ancient Terran societies, especially subterranean societies which developed off-planet travel early on and established underground bases and colonies. Those are the few races I have for now. There are several more, and I will discuss those in future videos. But I hope this has sated your curiosity. These 23 are the ones that are directly involved with Terra. In future videos, I will be discussing other species that are not involved with Terra, but are a part of the Federation. Have a great weekend, everyone, and like, subscribe, and share. Take care.